Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're talking about how to improve the effectiveness of your jab, how to make sure that you're going to get everything out of it that you possibly can. So bear with me, everybody. The voice is still struggling a little bit to return fully. Was away doing seminars over the weekend and got a little bit tiny sick and then strained it talking to a room full of people 2 days in a row. And yeah, it's just not 100%. So I'll do the best I can here. We're talking about how to make this jab more effective. You hear all the time in boxing that the jab is going to basically lead everything. It's the most important fight in combat sports world. But obviously it can't be the most important thing if you are struggling to throw it, and we need some little tips to make it more effective. The first thing that I want you to focus on is getting these shoulders into motion as you throw. I think very often when I let my jab go, I just sort of flick. And you can see right now that, yeah, okay, it can be fast, but I'm not really maximizing my reach. In addition, I'm not protecting my chin as much as I can. If I throw like this versus like that, I can really get that pop up and get that chin protected. So try to really get that turn. And I think you're going to notice that that in itself will help a lot. The next thing which you can be trying to work on is this little footwork pattern that you'll see boxers do sometimes. It's a little step forward with the lead foot and then back, and the back foot goes back and forward. So you can just work like that. And then as you take that motion where you step forward, there's the jab, and then the jab on the back step. And I find that when I strictly do boxing, both of these are very effective. Why so? Because maybe if I'm worried about kicks or something like that, low kicks, I don't want to come to this long stance and hang out here for too long. But in boxing, strictly, you don't have to worry about that. And if you're fast, you can still get off, throw that jab, get back, and be safe. The same thing applies stepping backwards. If I have somebody who's coming towards me and I take a little step and I jab, I feel like it effectively shuts down their offense and they have to do a reset. So I can either create distance or take away distance, both times leading with the jab. And if there's an opportunity to follow up after, that's great. If not, it'll just be me going, and that's it. Now, something that is a little bit more out there, and you won't hear people do as much unless you're looking at fighters who are more from Eastern Europe, maybe the Russian fighters, is using this jab almost as a distance controller. And I like to sometimes do this in boxing, and I find it really throws off my opponent. So instead of being here and flicking that jab out, I'll flick the jab and not always do a full rechamber, or right away stick it back out in the middle. So if I had somebody in front of me, it might look like this. Something like that can really throw people off. That arm right up the middle makes it difficult for them to come forward. Any shots that are big and rounded are easy to block with that forearm. And then in addition, if I get close enough, I can kind of pepper them a couple times and look for something else to throw. And something else you can do to make your jab so much more dangerous, so much more frustrating to be on the other side of, is get some variety behind it. Don't think your only option is, okay, I'm gonna stick it straight out. I just talked with you about, okay, we can do this. But you can also do little things like, oh, I'll step to the outside and throw the inverted jab. Or bury my head to this side and throw like that. Or sometimes I can just pop up my elbow and flick upwards. So instead of the punch coming on this horizontal plane, it actually comes from down to up. And you can snap somebody's head up kind of like an uppercut. Just be here and just sort of flick out. That works as well too. The more variety you have in your jab, coming from the side, getting that drop, sticking the pole out, give them a little flick upwards, all of that creates one technique being very difficult to deal with. So play around with all those guys. I have many more tips, but I feel like my throat is at the end of its limit right now, so I'm gonna call it there. As always, train hard, and I will see you back here soon for another video.